looking for needle in the video haystack.
Do you hear it?
As the fastest growing type of content on the internet, consumer-produced video has a wealth of information that has gone untapped. It's tough to find, there's not a good search approach for finding a video. Using ICSI's research on large-scale video search methods, Gerald Friedland from University of California, Berkeley is going to describe how we should do it. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah. Hello, my name is Gerald Friedland, and I work at the International Computer Science Institute, and that is a non-profit private research institute that is affiliated with the University of California, Berkeley. Yeah, my talk is called Finding the Needle in a Video Haystack, and that's exactly pretty much what we're doing. And I want to actually acknowledge and thank the National Science Foundation, who partly funds this effort as part of an NSF Big Data grant, and we're really happy that they do so. So why am I talking about video here, right? We're all networking people. Well, here's something to consider. The internet is pretty much multimedia. So if you look at this graph, this is from September 2013. Basically, the headline was, or one of the headlines was, 50% of the internet is now video. Well, because what they looked at was Netflix and YouTube. But then in reality, if you look at the other 50% of that box and the other 50, well, you know, BitTorrent, iTunes, and definitely other MPEG are most likely video. And then I can tell you that Amazon's book sales are not making 1.6% of the internet, at least not traffic-wise. So it's, of course, the video streaming. We don't know what goes on in SSL, but everybody knows that Hulu is a video streaming service. So that's way more than 50%. And then, of course, we have that gray box. And I let you introspect what that probably is, but I tell you, it's a video. So, I'm not so much concerned about the traffic itself. We're more concerned about something else. So YouTube alone, and this slide changed over the years when I gave the talks, was claiming 3 years ago that 48 hours of video are uploaded every minute. Last year, it was 72 hours of video every minute, and this year, it's about 100 hours of video every minute. So the growth of the data is growing, and radically. So every minute I speak, there's another 100 hours of videos on YouTube. But then YouTube is, of course, well, one of the biggest sites, probably the biggest, but then there's other sites too. In China, there's UQ, which is trying to be the YouTube equivalent. And you know, I haven't even talked about Flickr, which, by the way, has a large amount of videos. Instagram, LiveLeak, Vimeo, all these other video portals that are out there. So, well, we have all these videos, and then people are kind of used to the fact that, well, we have them, and we search for them, right? But in reality, video search doesn't work at all. I mean, at least not what I've seen, you know, is implemented in any of the search engines that I looked at. So the way this works is, yeah, if you look for Miley Cyrus or you know, Gangnam Style, yeah, you find that because it's annotated. So the way this works is, of course, video search works by just sifting through the metadata that the video is accompanied with. And that metadata is in consumer-produced videos, stuff that's been described while the user was uploading it, just what came to people's mind when they were uploading it. And especially once you start searching for something that is semantically more interesting, like, for example, our linguists ask us, could we get videos of people giving directions to a location? You know, that's your Google result, 3 irrelevant videos. Right? So once you search deeper, you know, it basically doesn't work. But we have an opportunity here. The opportunity is that because we have hundreds of hours of videos uploaded every minute, these are usually cell phone videos taken from an environment, right? So they show people as they are, right? It's kind of like, why do archaeologists like that Pompeii basically, you know, went onto the ash of the Vesuvius? Well, because they gave them a freeze of Pompeii as it was 2,000 years ago in the Romans. Well, that's exactly what these videos are. It shows us the world as it is right now, or maybe, you know, in 10 years ago as well, you know, at different stages in time. And it's the world that is unfiltered. It's just basically, I take a video, right? And of course, I have an intention when I take the video, but there's also all this background data, and especially that background data is interesting in video because you don't have that in text. So in theory, I should be able to answer sociology questions, medicine questions, economic questions, whatever comes to mind that is an empirical science at a never before seen scale. So here's a typical example that I give. When I want a video of, let's say I want to learn how an infant, as a 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old starts to learn to catch a ball, how would I do this now? Right now, what I have to do, at least me as an academic, I have to go to the subjects, to the IRB board to get approval to work with very fragile subjects. Once I've done this 100-page proposal or so, and then 2 years later it's approved, well, it's not that bad, but something like that. Then I can ask 100 parents to come in, I pay them, maybe 75 show up, half of the babies collaborate, and after 2 years of a hassle, I have about maybe, let's say, 40 to 50 videos that see babies trying to catch a ball that then I can then analyze. If I do the YouTube search right now, I find about 100 videos, so that's already better. But then what I should really find is, frankly, millions of videos. Geographically, I could say, maybe by, by social status, by education, by whatever you want to do, should be all possible if video search was possible. By the way, another example for this already happened. It's a Nature article. You should look that up. Is Darwin had to go out and do, travel to basically look at the birds. But nowadays, biologists, when they ask questions, they can just crowdsource video search, right? So they wanted to know whether there are actually any animals that dance to music without human intervention, right? So basically, is dancing to music training or not? And they found a bird in the tropicals that dances to music without human intervention because they said, if that exists, surely somebody must have recorded it with their cell phone. And yes, they were right. So from there on, they could then, of course, travel there specifically. So instead of crowdsourcing, we want to do this, of course, automatically. We want to sift through all this 90% of the internet, which is completely untapped because we don't have a handle on it. So our approach is, first of all, people always come and say, but image search didn't work, right? So we're talking about videos here. Videos are so much richer. First of all, a video contains a lot more images. Second, a video contains temporal information. And third, a video contains audio. And that is a lot more information you can go through. And the typical example that I just gave is here, Cameron learns to catch. By the way, if you search for baby catching a ball or baby trying to catch a ball, you do not find this video because the annotator said Cameron learns to catch, which is actually very close to what I wanted to find, but it's not the same. In any way, what we found out, for example, if you then make sure to extract that ball sound, which unfortunately makes about 1% of the sounds, you'll find a lot of videos where babies try to catch a ball. That's exactly the approach one should be taking. Of course, now the interesting part is, how do you have the computer find out that this really ball sound in the first part of the audio track distinguishes babies trying to catch a ball videos from everything else in the world? That is the research we're doing. And yeah, we're actually looking at temporal, visual, and acoustic parts. So now, there's some very interesting announcement I want to make. All the research I'm presenting here right now was based on about 15,000 Flickr videos. And then we talked to Yahoo and said, wouldn't it be great if we could work with more videos and also more images? And as of yesterday, this is the press release from yesterday, Yahoo released 100 million media items from Flickr, all Creative Commons, that we are now at ICSI basically taking and in collaboration with Lawrence Livermore Lab, extracting features in the audiovisual and temporal domain so that they're available for research, for exactly that research. And I'm expecting with 100 million media items, things will change a little bit. By the way, this is not just done on your laptop. So we're teaming up with Lawrence Livermore Lab. They gave us access, thank you so much, Lawrence Livermore Lab, to a Cray CST300, their so-called Catalyst machine, which is actually a machine that is optimized for video processing, which is great. And here's why you need a machine that is optimized for video processing. I think that might be interesting for your networking folks, is that, well, the typical approach is you send like one piece to each CPU, right? Well, first of all, one piece of video uncompressed is gigabytes, right? And then second, let's say you do that. When the results come back, they're all going to thrash your hard disk, if at all they make it through the network internally. So that machine, which is optimized for video processing, has NVRAM per CPU, so we can store results directly with each CPU and then send results over the network back. And it's still a challenge. It will still take us 1 or 2 months to process all the videos. So let me give you one example of how we can exploit video data in a way that is really sort of looking at big data in a different way, that made us really think about big data in a very different way, and that was very surprising to us. So one problem that we had before was annotation, right? How do you actually get all these videos annotated? But then one annotation came for free, which was geotagging. Many videos, and it's about 3% of the internet of videos, are geotagged. So we said, what about the other 97%? Can we use the 3% as training data and then automatically tag 97% of the videos with geotag? So automatically find the location of a video given its content as visual, temporal, and acoustic data. And we did this, we have done this for years, and our result is pretty much that based on 5,000 Flickr videos, based on training with 15,000, and testing with 5,000 totally random Flickr videos that are just made so that they're not the same users and stuff, basically we're not cheating, we can locate 15%, 1/5, within 10-meter accuracy. So now we extended the reach of location from 3%, which is the original geotag, to about 18, because we have 15% more. But then if you look at the ranges, do we have to be that accurate? No. With 500 kilometer, which is basically sort of country, state accuracy, we are way above 60% already. So 2/3 or so of the videos we can easily say where they come from. And that's something, by the way, we have papers on how humans would perform on there. It's not clear humans can do it at all. So in the interest of time, I can't go very deep into how this technically works. But the way this works is that we look at the spatial variance of individual visual, acoustic, temporal features. We can also look at the spatial variance of tags. I show this based on tags here because it's easier to explain. But then basically what you do is the more training data comes in, the more you find out, basically what makes an individual feature location dependent. For example, you can have the word campanile, it's pretty much either Italian or it's Berkeley. So now you say campanile Berkeley, well then we know it's kind of on campus, right? Or campanile in some Italian word would make it pretty much somewhere in Italy. And of course, somewhere needs to be specified, even more. So we draw a graph of the combination of spatial variant features which creates your model. So, definitely follow up with me if you're more interested in the approach. But I want to show you how this actually looks like, because what's fascinating about it and what I find so fascinating is what you can do sort of beyond what usually humans think they can do. And the way I see it is that we go beyond what used to be AI. AI is trying to imitate the human. No, we're trying to solve tasks that human kind of cannot do. So if you look on the left, you see the consumer-produced video, and I'm just going to play it to you. Yeah, that's it. It's just repeating again. So where is that? Exactly, right? So here's what we have from the text. From the text, we have pretty much this Gatineau, Quebec, which would be, if I did a regular search on Google, what it would find, right? So, but then again, let's look into this. By the way, if I did it visually only, it would point it here. But then let's look what the combination of features gives us. Oops. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why this doesn't work, but it's basically, pretty much at about 1 kilometer accuracy, and the city would be showing here, right? So if you just looked in the city, it wouldn't work. So I give you another example, this one. right? So what do you see here? I mean, where is that? Right? It could be anywhere. I mean, pretty much from the street layout, maybe it's going to be America. The good news is the tags would tell us it's Oklahoma, Bottlesville. So that's not too bad. And if we zoom in, we pretty much get to... so here's the interesting point. If you did this based on text, you would place your tag marker somewhere in Bartlesville, of course, because it says so. But we do this multimodally, and now we place it much closer. So this is where the ground truth would be, where the GPS coordinates are, and this is where we place it. And in fact, the little difference here is pretty much an artifact of our approach, because again, we need to say where the location is that we see, and the GPS also only tells us where the location is that the photo was taken, right? So if you took a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge, we would say it's Golden Gate Bridge, but of course the photo of the Golden Gate Bridge was most likely not taken on the Golden Gate Bridge, right? So that little difference is in there anyways. Yeah, so thank you very much. That was just to give you a glimpse into what can be done with lots of data and processing that goes way beyond, I think, what we thought would be possible. And I'm really excited to be part of this. And we'll continue. Please let me know any questions.